Real Gary Tussey, where we talk about anything and everything that could ever amount to anything or everything to anybody and everybody who ever intends to amount to something. The Gary Tussey effect in the earth. I got a record 6.5 hours of sleep uninterrupted, and I'm bouncing off the walls this morning, baby. So easy to use, it barely felt like you were doing anything wrong. They all seemed like perfectly acceptable methods. The Gary Tussey effect in the earth. I got a record 6.5 hours of sleep uninterrupted, and I'm bouncing off the walls this morning, baby. The Gary Tussey effect in the earth. So easy to use, it barely felt like you were doing anything. They all seemed like perfectly acceptable methods. The Gary Tussey effect in the earth.
Genius loves company.
Hello and welcome to the Real Gary Tussey podcast. We're delighted you're with us, and so many new people coming on board with the Real Gary Tussey podcast, which is carried over iHeartRadio and iTunes, and we're so glad to have our family of podcast lovers with us, enjoying the Real Gary Tussey podcast, the greatest podcast ever produced in human history. We also this morning have our Facebook posse and enjoying the greatest morning show ever produced in human history with your host, Real Gary Tussey. Thank you for being with us. On the Facebook posse side, I've got a little bit of technical difficulty, and that is that I have the live feed picture on my computer, but I'm not getting the comments, and I don't know why or how I can fix that. Let me try to refresh it. Maybe that will work, and I can see the comments. I know I'm not getting the comments because I just went to my it's not doing it. I just went to my phone to check. So we got Lawana, we got Daniel, we got Verna, and maybe so many more. But so we'll keep checking like that and see what we got as we continue on here. We've been talking the last few weeks about friends and friendship, about developing friends and friendships. As an adult, it's a little tougher than when we were kids and we had our Tonka trucks playing in the dirt. As a matter of fact, on one side of that also is some of those friends we had as children we should still have as friends today. And we've let that slip a whole lot. And friendship is something that it confronts every one of us every day. Some of us, the older we get, the more we realize, they're not in my circle anymore. I haven't talked to them forever. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder how they're doing. When all along you should have been keeping up with them. Remember, the burden of maintaining friendship is with you. Don't expect the other to maintain that friendship. So we're going to continue talking about that today. We're going to talk about the last leg of our trip to Texas, which we call the Texpedition, and the last leg of that was, which is why we've got our beach scenery behind us. The last leg of our journey was in Biloxi, Mississippi. We enjoyed Biloxi Beach there for 3 days, and not the greatest beach I've ever been on, but it was still a beach, and we'll talk about that. Miss Julie is taking care of her pompadour. It's a reverse pompadour she had on the back of her head. She tried to fluff it up, and it went way too high. It was like that wife on Simpsons, except it was all in the back. And if her hair had been blue, I would have thought she was the Simpsons. So,
well, goodness, you could have looked at it before I came on live.
I trust you that you know how to make yourself up. Hey, before you get settled in, go see. I can't see who's commenting, and I want it. We're going to have to do that a time or two.
Facebook catastrophe today.
Yeah,
it's commenting
yeah.
Here.
So I saw Verna.
Mike.
Mike's on? Okay. Hey, Mike. Good morning. Good morning, brother.
I've got Dwayne and Harriet and Gary and
Gina.
Hi, you all.
Yeah, guys.
Our comments aren't working.
For some reason, the comments are shut down. Oh, it's a Facebook thing. But we'll stay in. We don't mind walking around and see who's doing what. So, Miss Julie's back in the studio, my writer by my side, the lovely and talented effervescent, sitting like a princess perched in her electric chair. Miss Julie Tussey, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here. I didn't want to offend anyone's eyes with my crazy hair. Man, I have got crazy hair.
So describe this hair you got now. What's this new thing? You went away. You were gone for 5 minutes.
I have my hair's almost to my waist. It's a lot of hair to deal with. I just took it down, brushed it out a little bit. It's kind of wild. I'm wild in the morning anyway, so you know.
Wild child.
There you go. At least I feel better.
Yeah, you look good, so don't worry about that.
Thank you so much.
We're continuing to talk about friends and friendship and developing those. I made the point that the burden is on us, numero uno, to keep friendships going, but I also told them we're talking about our last leg of our Texpedition, where we ended up in Biloxi, Mississippi, and enjoyed the beach at Biloxi, Mississippi, and also enjoyed some friends there, which you have known for a lot. I've only
1902.
I only met him when we were in Biloxi about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we met up with my really good friend Robert Hopkins and his wife Marcella. They are tent revivalists and preachers. Amazing couple. And I've known Robert since he was a teenager. I think we're only a couple years apart in age, but I was already married, and he was finding his way, and he would sleep at our house on a lawn chair. I don't know why. We had an extra room. He was just so much fun, but he's hilarious. Did you like him, Gary? Isn't he so funny?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And we had not seen each other in probably 29 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So a lot like you and your friends.
Yeah,
and,
Terry and I hadn't seen each other for 39 years.
Yeah.
But you guys had stayed in touch some. I only reconnected with Terry about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And then was able to see him last week. So we had a good time in Biloxi. They stayed with us almost the
3
whole
days.
duration.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days. It was really good because we had been talking about trying to connect for, a couple of years.
Yeah.
And we had done it in the past, and then we had been talking for a year this last year. And so, excuse me, we looked at our Texpedition trek, and we decided to go from the Woodlands and cut straight over to Biloxi Beach. And we all laid on the Gulf of Mexico and played in the sun. We had fun. Was there anything, one thing that stands out to you?
Well, I would like for you to talk a little bit about what he's doing now, what Robert Hopkins is doing now, because you started out as kids, which was really, really cool, but I'd like to fill the folks in on what he's doing now, because he's not going and punching a time clock and doing 40 hours a week somewhere.
No, he and Marcella, they travel full time, and they have a huge tent. I don't believe they've gotten to take it out yet. They were given the tent, raised the money for the tent. However it happened, I think someone gave it to them, but they had to do some co-working with them to get it. And then COVID hit. So they have this big, did he say it seats 300?
300, yeah.
A big tent that seats 300, and they're going to take it around the country in strategic spots and places and minister the gospel. I love that. He's a great preacher. She's a musician and a singer, and wherever they go, I'm pretty sure we're welcome to go join them, so we probably will. He's already talked to us quite a bit about it, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I love that.
So tent minis are making a comeback from what I'm hearing, and
yeah, we went to an R.W. Shambach revival 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, 15 years ago.
15 to 18 years ago.
And we went to that, and it was life-changing. That's the first time I had ever been in a tent revival. I'm sure you've been in others.
Yeah.
But you just do not hear, for all these years, I've not heard of tent revivals hardly at all. And then all of a sudden, in the last couple years, it seems like it's just what God's doing. And I really believe that we're going to see a lot more. Matter of fact, Kenneth Copeland just put on a big old tent revival.
Yeah, and the heat and It's unconventional to have a tent meeting in Texas in the summer, so it was very unconventional. Talk about your experience at Biloxi Beach while I go check the comment.
He's zipping around to the phones. Yeah, it was wonderful. Now, we've been at the Panama City Beach, and I love Panama City because it's blue and green. This was a completely different experience. It looked a lot like the Atlantic Ocean, didn't it, Gary? It was gray, gray and brown. Hi, Alfonso. There's my dad. Hi.
We got Gary over here and Tina on your feed, and Londa and Jasper, and we're so glad they're with us.
Oh, thank you guys for tuning in. I don't know what's up with Facebook. It's not showing comments today, but we're so glad you're here. And but Biloxi Beach was a wonderful end of our trip. We were gone for not quite 2.5 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, and we had not gone on a journey like that. And one day I'd been asking Gary for 2 years to take me to go see my dad, Alfonso, and Sheila Vargas in the faith, my father in the faith, for 2 years, and we just couldn't work it out. And all of a sudden he comes down and he says, Julie, he said, do you want to go to Texas? Because I'm going to Texas. You want to go with me? And I'm like, and I smacked you, didn't I? I'm like, don't you ask me that way. I've been asking you. No. But it was, I said, of course I want to go. And we began, I know you had an unction in your heart that we needed to go. And so we started our hashtag mission on a mission from God, and talk about friendship renewal. Wasn't it amazing? And that's what I love about your subject today. If you will take the time to invest, you don't even have to see each other for years and years and years, but if you just work on that relationship and take the time to go see each other when you can, it's just like a reunion. It's amazing.
Exactly right. And I believe really was the purpose of our mission. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that we had been not tight with through the years like we really would care to be. So we made that happen.
And on the way home, I did some Facebook Lives. There's probably 4 more people that wish we would have come to see them. So when we go again,
we were really close to many of them and didn't realize
it. They're like, oh my gosh, you just went by my house. So we'll be adding some people to the list next time.
We will. Our next outing that's scheduled is to go to Branson, Missouri with Keith Moore. Just puts on a meeting for a minister. So we're going to be going to that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
So I want to talk about a point or two that keeps friendship where it needs to be in your life, and one of those points is for you to develop momentum. Once you have made contact, who's maintaining that thing? If you're expecting the other to maintain it, then it's going to fall by the wayside. We have to be aggressive, proactive in making sure and why is this so valuable? Because having friends lowers the depression rate, lowers the suicide rate, lowers
your blood pressure even, I think.
It helps you actually. Depression and poor quality social support is as bad as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Oh, my goodness.
Your health is also dependent on making sure. See, the Heavenly Father has created us as social beings. You're listening to the Real Gary Tussey podcast. Thanks for being with us today. We were created by Father God to be social beings, and that's why there's a real strain since we're in the middle of the COVID-19 shutdowns. Man, we think of places all the time we want to go. We think of events we want to put together, and it just stops right there because we have the limitation of not being able to do that. And everybody knows that. You know what we're talking about.
It's tough. It's really tough.
We are recording this on the 18th day of July, so if you're hearing this and the COVID thing is finally over, good, but right now we're in the throes of it with insurgency has had a comeback. So we're just about out of time, but I like at this time for Julie to tell you how to stay in touch with us other than the media outlets, and also how that you're able to give As a matter of fact, we need to talk about that in the next podcast.
Okay. How
that you're able to give and help this ministry move forward with your financial gifts.
Yes, you can reach us at tusseyonline.com. That's TUSSEY. Online.com. There you can go and get on the mailing list. You can hear music, you can view videos, and you can donate or give there. It's an amazing site. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. You can also email us at thevoiceinc23@gmail. That is our nonprofit corporation, The Voice Incorporated. You can find it at Venmo, The Voice INC, and the Cash App, money symbol, The Voice INC. So if you look for us, you'll find us, but we're really, really wanting you to partner with us. Get on the mailing list so you know what we're doing, because once the COVID breaks, we're going to be doing things outside of the studio. But until then, we have a lot of things that we're working on in the studio to help encourage your life and help you to have a better life.
Yeah, so we've expanded the television studio, and so we're really able to produce some really nice footage out of there. And we are on a crusade to upload content every week, new content every week, until finally it becomes daily. What our target is to do is to buy 30-second slots. 30-second spots on the local news affiliates here in Lexington, Kentucky. We have every intention of doing that. Your financial gift helps to make that possible. It's a budget of $10,000 a year to do that.
Just for that portion.
That's just for that portion. That's dedicated to that portion only. So somebody can write a check for $10,000, and that would be appreciated, and be off to the races for a year. Somebody can give $10 a month, and we'd be off to the races by that too. We have those already who are giving monthly, and we greatly appreciate them.
Yes, thank you.
So we just want to make that contagious as we make clear what we are doing and why we are doing it. We are doing it all for the sake of the gospel and the lifting up of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen.
His death, burial, and resurrection still impresses me today. And something about a man who was dead for me, but then raised from the dead to continue to live and dwell in me. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, say that.
So that keeps us going. So any last thoughts?
We thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Please let your friends and family know about the Facebook Live at 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Also, let your friends and family know about Real Gary Tussey, the podcast, also the Julie Tussey Show podcast, and the Grace Girls and Company podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, and TV, we're doing that too. So
I thought you mentioned that, because
I don't think I did. You can find us. All you do is go to YouTube and search Tussey Television, and it'll pull everything we're doing. You'll love it, and you can find that on Facebook also.
Yep, all good. So until we see you next time, remember to live and let live, be free and set other people free, and by all means apply a high energy pursuit toward happiness. Tussey out.